The House of Windsor, long seen as the very picture of royal perfection, a model household admired the world over. Prince William, the steady and self-controlled heir, seemingly born for the role. Kate Middleton, elegant and kind, a true princess in every sense of the word. And their three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, symbols of hope, guiding the monarchy's future with every adorable public appearance. But appearances, as they often do, can be deceiving. Behind the carefully curated images, the orchestrated photo ops, and the unwavering smiles, a quiet storm was brewing, one that threatened to shatter the Windsor family's carefully constructed facade. And it all started with a vase, July 1st, 2025. Royal Week, or Holyrood Week as it's sometimes called, was in full swing in Edinburgh. The annual celebration of Scottish culture was in full swing, with King Charles III and Queen Camilla presiding over the festivities. Princess Anne was there as well, turning Holyrood House into the nation's focal point. But beneath the surface of all that grandeur, a quiet family crisis was taking shape. While Prince William and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, were oceans away on a significant tour of New Zealand, representing the crown, promoting global causes, and reinforcing ties with the Commonwealth, their children remained at Holyrood House under the care of Queen Camilla. Prince George, age 11, already mature and composed like a future king. Princess Charlotte, 10, spirited yet conscious of her role. And then there was 7-year-old Prince Louis, the family's tireless bundle of energy. Leaving the children in Camilla's care seemed a reasonable decision. The 7-8-year-old queen had overcome decades of controversy on her path to becoming queen. Described as firm, resilient, and consistently trying to bond with her step-grandchildren, she seemed the obvious choice. But the lingering shadows of her difficult history with Princess Diana cast a long shadow. Could she truly offer warmth to the younger generation? During a tour of the palace's private art collection, a space filled with global treasures, including an exclusive selection of Chinese porcelain, Prince Louis became entranced by a Ming Dynasty vase. The piece, decorated with detailed blue enamel dragons and phoenixes, rested on a tall stone pedestal and symbolized centuries of diplomatic connection between Britain and the East. It was more than a 15th century artifact. It represented royal heritage and was valued in the millions. Driven by innocent fascination, the young prince extended his small hand to lightly touch the porcelain surface. He only wanted to feel the smooth texture, like searching for a fragment of the ancient tales his mother often shared with him. But a slightly stronger touch, perhaps from excitement, sent the vase wobbling. In the next second, time seemed to halt. A quiet tap echoed like a warning, followed by the devastating crash of antique porcelain collapsing on the marble floor. Pieces scattered in every direction, disrupting the palace's serene atmosphere. George and Charlotte spun around with horrified expressions, and the nannies nearby froze in disbelief. Queen Camilla, who had been supervising the tour, turned sharply at the sound. The queen's usually controlled, stately expression transformed into one of fury. "Do you understand what you've broken? That isn't one of your toys." Her voice sliced through the hall, cold and cutting, making the air feel heavy. Louis went rigid, trembling like a leaf. Still processing what had happened, he stuttered. I'm sorry, Grandma." Before tears streamed down his face, he began to cry. Not a playful whine, but deep, frightened sobs, as though he believed he had committed an unforgivable wrong. Camilla pressed on, raising her voice. "You're far too careless. This is a national treasure, not something for children to play with." She walked closer, pointing at the shattered remains, her cheeks flushed, unintentionally worsening the situation. Hidden in a nearby corner, one of Kate's longtime nannies, someone who had cared for William's children for years and witnessed countless moments in their lives, slowly lifted her phone. Disturbed by what she saw, she quietly began recording. Her hands shook with emotion, capturing Camilla's scolding, Louis's tears, and the panic etched across his small face. It wasn't an act of defiance, but rather the instinct of someone who had become a second mother to the children, instinctively protecting the emotional well-being of the youngest prince. She knew that tensions had surfaced before between Camilla and the grandchildren, from whispers of distance to public moments where attempts at closeness were occasionally misread. Though the confrontation lasted only a few minutes, it marked the start of an uncontrollable shockwave. Holyrood House, renowned for its calm gardens and royal festivities, had suddenly become the backdrop of a family drama. From that moment forward, the British royal family would be drawn into a storm of public criticism, where the carefully crafted image they had maintained for years teetered on the edge of collapse. Later that afternoon, as the sun sank behind Scotland's rolling green hills, the online world erupted as if someone had triggered a long-time explosive. The nanny anonymously posted the video to X, pairing it with a short but piercing caption. A child makes a mistake. A woman scolds him as if he shattered the crown itself. The clip, under a minute, captured clearly with a modern smartphone, revealed Camilla in a rare moment of unrestrained anger, her face red as she barked, "You're such a disgrace! No prince behaves like that!" Meanwhile, little 7-year-old Louis curled in on himself, crying uncontrollably, his sobs cutting straight into the hearts of anyone watching. The footage didn't just present what happened. It underscored the stark imbalance between the authority of a queen and the vulnerability of a small child. Within mere hours, the video spread uncontrollably across the internet, accumulating millions of views worldwide. Hashtags like #BrokenVase, #BrokenTrust, and #Justice for Louis swept through social media, especially in the United States, where child protection is a deeply embedded value. Outrage poured in rapidly. A mother in California commented, "How can a queen speak to her grandson like that? That's not discipline, it's emotional abuse." Her post drew tens of thousands of likes, sparking even more debate. A New York activist added, "The British monarchy always thinks it stands above accountability, but children don't. Show justice for Louise." Memes began circulating. Images of the shattered Ming vase overlaid with Camilla's face and captions like, "A vase can be fixed. Broken trust cannot." The uproar soon spilled onto Reddit and Instagram, flooded with comparisons linking Camilla's behavior to previous child mistreatment cases. If this were any ordinary household, social services would have stepped in. One Redditor wrote, earning thousands of upvotes. Parents around the world shared personal experiences. "My child was shouted at like that once." They're still traumatized. What began as a small private mishap rapidly escalated into a global symbol of injustice within the royal household, sparking widespread conversations about power, parenting, and emotional responsibility from Australia to Canada. Meanwhile, up at Balmoral, where Camilla had withdrawn in hopes of avoiding the backlash, she learned about the video from an urgent call by her private secretary. Her face first turned ashen, then flushed with fury. "Who would dare do this? This is outright betrayal," she yelled, directing her anger at a nearby chambermaid who had been tidying the room. "Do you even understand what's happening? All of you are useless. Why didn't anyone stop it?" The terrified maid bowed and apologized repeatedly, but Camilla continued scolding her, even hurling a pillow onto the floor in frustration. It wasn't until her senior media advisor stepped in that she began to settle. He murmured, "Your Majesty, the situation is severe. A public apology will help ease the backlash before it becomes even larger." Camilla exhaled heavily and gave a reluctant nod. "Fine, I'll do it. But I wasn't wrong." 3 days after the vase shattered at Holyrood House Palace, the public was still seething. The controversy spreading across every major social platform from the UK to the US, Australia, and Canada. People demanded an official statement from the royal family, turning the incident into an international debate over child protection and the responsibilities of those in authority. The number Justice for Louis continued to trend, gathering thousands of angry messages each hour. Under this mounting pressure, Queen Camilla, after lengthy discussions with her advisors, chose to address the matter from Balmoral, the secluded royal estate in the Scottish Highlands, surrounded by quiet forests and lakes, hoping the remote location would keep the situation under control and limit the chaotic media presence. Camilla appeared before a small group of hand-picked journalists, presenting a carefully crafted calmness. She wore a soft blue outfit meant to symbolize reassurance and stability, a deliberate choice by her team to project composure. Standing at the microphone with several advisors behind her, she spoke in a steady voice, though traces of tension and defensiveness slipped through. "I responded as any responsible adult would when witnessing a child recklessly damage a national treasure. It was a necessary lesson about respecting history. I don't regret the guidance, only that the moment was filmed and misrepresented." Despite being part of a prepared statement, her remarks revealed a striking lack of sensitivity. She did not apologize to Louis or acknowledge what the child might be feeling. Instead, she focused solely on the value of the Ming Dynasty vase, a piece tied to royal tradition and long-standing relations between Britain and China. Moments earlier in her private room, she had murmured to her advisor, her voice shaking with unease, "I was only doing what was right. Why can nobody see that? It was just an accident." Yet now everything is collapsing. But her explanation failed to calm the fury. It intensified it. Many saw her words as dismissive and devoid of genuine remorse. Online backlash surged. She still won't admit she was wrong. This is emotional abuse. Comment after comment amplified the criticism. Soon, dissatisfaction expanded beyond Camilla alone. People began questioning the entire royal institution itself. Angry posts asked, if even a queen refuses to take responsibility, how can anyone trust the monarchy at all? Meanwhile, in Wellington, New Zealand, William and Kate received the news through a private aide, an urgent message with the video attached. They had been at dinner with the British ambassador discussing environmental initiatives when the aide arrived, visibly shaken, holding an iPad. William pressed play, and the color drained from his face, his hands tightening until his knuckles whitened. Kate gasped softly, her eyes filling as tears slipped down her cheeks. Louis, my poor boy. The short clip devastated them, Camilla's harsh tone and Louis's cries echoing in the quiet room. Kate stood abruptly, voice trembling but resolute. We're leaving now. William agreed immediately. Yes, we can't stay here. They canceled the rest of their official engagements, meetings with the Prime Minister, charity events, and a planned reception with the Maui community, sending urgent apologies to the New Zealand government. Their private jet departed that night, carrying their distress and anger across the ocean. During the long flight, they held hands tightly. He needs us, Kate whispered through tears. I'll keep our family safe, William answered, his voice unwavering. When the royal jet touched down at Edinburgh Airport at dawn on July 20th, 2025, the Scottish air was cold, wrapped in a dense fog that seemed to reflect the turmoil in Duchess Kate's chest. The exhausting 24-plus-hour flight from Wellington had felt endless. Kate had been unable to sleep, her mind consumed by thoughts of Louis and the distress he must have suffered. Ignoring protocol, no formal greeting, no pause to rest or compose herself, she headed directly for the armored vehicle waiting on the tarmac. Her heartbeat sharp and relentless. I need to see them right now, she whispered to William once inside, her voice shaking, her eyes swollen from sleeplessness and suppressed tears. William, seated beside her, still burning with anger after repeatedly watching the video during the flight, squeezed her hand tightly. We'll be with him soon, but I'm not letting this go unanswered, he said. The car raced through Edinburgh's quiet early morning streets, carrying two parents who, before anything else, were simply worried for their children. Holyrood House Palace remained tense.